What's up, everyone? Welcome to another High Value Agent podcast episode where we inspire people to create a better life through real estate. And we're going to hop right into it because I know a lot of people right now they're wanting to grow their production fast. When they get into real estate, whether you're brand new or maybe you are, gearing up for the new year, you want to make sure that you are producing at a high level fast, okay? So I'm going to break that down for you. And one thing that I have learned over the years is you need to simplify in order to amplify. Or maybe you've heard it this way. The simple solves the complex. Through your journey of building a business, the complexity of the business in terms of growth is going to happen organically. You don't need to bring that. It's going to happen regardless. The key is to keep everything simple and make the main thing the main thing. Okay. So I'm going to break down a few key points for you guys. That way you can, right after this podcast, deploy it, implement it right into your business, and you will see results. Okay. So again, how to grow your production fast. And one of the cool things about this is every single person, whether it's in real estate or you're opening up a bakery or you are opening up a shoe store, if you're in business, this applies across all industries. All right. Now, I do want to share something because my first year in real estate, I had to learn this the hard way. My first year in real estate, I had to fall on my face so many times to gain the experience that I needed to have the context and experience to know what works and what doesn't work. Very simple, or simply put, was whatever worked, I did more of. Whatever did not work, I stopped doing. Right. So in my first 12 months, I helped 31 families buy and sell real estate. And I would say about a third of them, about a third of them, maybe a little less, was from my sphere of influence. So, I had to do a lot of prospecting to go find more business, whether it was through for sale by owners or it was through circle prospecting or even working expireds, right? I was out there doing the thing. Okay. And one of the main things that I did was I made sure this is number one. Okay. This is the number one point. The first point is I had to master the conversation. I had to understand how to communicate with a buyer or seller. Okay. So just through that, it increased my confidence level and my competency level. I want you to think of it this way. Because again, when you get into real estate, you don't know what to say, right? You don't know how to communicate. A lot of us don't understand the logistics of the business. Even my veterans, there's a lot of us still who don't know how to have effective conversations with a for sale by owner. A lot of us still don't know how to have effective conversations with a seller when it comes to pricing the home correctly. A lot of us still don't even know how to literally take a stranger who is a hot buyer or hot seller and convert them into a consultation and present to them and sign them as a client. A lot of us still struggle with that. So in my first year, I had to realize something. I had to correlate what I do as a professional every single day to what a doctor does every single day. For example, a doctor is expected to master the conversation when discussing ways to help or improve a patient's health. They have to know that. They have to be able to highly communicate with the lead on what they should do, okay, to improve their health. You can even say a surgeon. A surgeon understands the conversation that they need to have with the client and with the assistants that are performing the surgery, the things to say to effectively help that patient's health. So we as a real estate professional, because you are a professional, you have to be able to highly communicate with the lead on why they should do business with you or why they should do business with us. We need to be able to communicate and guide them through the transaction. And by doing this effectively, decrease the amount of stress that not only you, but the client will have in that transaction. So I had to master the conversation. So if you want to grow your production fast, you have to master the conversation. You need to know what to say and you need to know how to say it. Okay. Keep in mind, the people that you are going to be helping, they're looking for a leader, they're looking for expertise. And I'm not even saying you need to know everything, but the common questions and concerns that a buyer or a seller would have, you need to have mastered the ability to communicate that effectively, to ease their concerns, to educate and inform them, and to lead them. Okay. So master the conversation. Now, how do you do it? Very simple. Number one, you got to practice. You got to practice. So whether it is a script, there's one that is universal. You can Google it to find it. It's called LP Mama. That is like your foundational conversation. And that could be had with a seller or a buyer, but that is your foundational framework to have a real estate conversation with a human being. And again, you could Google that, right? Now, my team, we've taken what I would consider the next step in creating a more a version of LP Mama, but it's more focused on uncovering motivation. And it's not really a script, it's more of a framework. It's more like talking tracks, right? And we call it winning relationships. And it's a way to build rapport and trust with the client, right? People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. In winning relationships, that framework helps establish that as much rapport as possible. That way, when you set an appointment with that person, they're more likely to show and already be pre-sold on the ability, my ability, or your ability to help them buy or sell a home. Okay. So again, master the conversation. It's number one. Practice your frameworks, practice your scripts, role play, whether it's with a spouse, a friend, or other agents. And if you don't have any agents that are in your in proximity to you, it would be useful for you to go on Facebook or connect with people online, and there's like agent groups and stuff that you can literally communicate with people and ask who would like to be my role play partner on this particular script or framework. And you can set up some type of role play sessions. That way you're not practicing on the client, but you're practicing with someone that's going to help you get better. You're not practicing on the client. So get the reps in, you got to role play. And then you got to actually make the calls. That's the part where I think a lot of people get stuck is it's like, oh man, well, I practice and I practice and I practice. And I'm like, well, how many calls did you make over the past week? And they made 5 calls. And I'm like, well, based on the data, if you only call 5 people, unless they're like your family or people that you're friends with, out of those 5 dials, you're probably not going to get many people to pick up. Matter of fact, historically, about 10 to 15% of people that you dial actually pick up. Now, there are ways for you to increase that pickup rate, but we're not going to get into that today. But you got to do the thing, right? So practice, master the conversation by practicing, but you also master the conversation by talking to people, by actually doing the thing, calling people, having conversations, which leads me into my next one. You have to talk to a lot of people. You got to make a massive amount of contacts and or have a massive amount of conversations with human beings. So I have a question for you. How many conversations are you having each day? And by the way, let's define what conversation means. Okay. Conversation on our team, we define as a 2-minute conversation with a decision making adult. 2-minute conversation, at least 2 minutes long. So, how many of those are you having each day? If you're only having one per day, I recommend getting that to 3 to 4. If you're having 3 to 4 already, I recommend getting that up to 5. Bare minimum. Bare minimum, you should be talking to 20 people a week, 22-minute conversations. We're training and coaching the agents on our team to have over 35 conversations a week. And there are teams across the nation, by the way, high performing teams, people that I personally know and talk to, and I'm able and I'm privileged to be able to have these conversations with them and really see what are you guys doing, right? And take what they do and we distill it down to what works for us and we deploy, right? But I know some high level teams that their agents are talking to over 50 people a week, 52-minute conversations. Why? Well, that's the type of market that we're in. We're in a action based market that requires high level skills, period. You got to talk to people. Your lack of production that you have or that you would have in the future is solely based on the number of conversations you're having each day, period. Hard stop. Okay. And then also keep in mind, too, when it comes to having a lot of conversations with people, every single person that has a real estate need, whether it's buying or selling, they know at least 2 to 5 other agents. Trust me. So, what I'm saying is they have options. You are not the only agent that is in their world. And depending on your market, that number could be much higher because there are some markets that are, I mean, there's too many real estate agents in some markets. So keep that in mind. And this is why you got to have a lot of conversations. So if you're not having 5 conversations a day and or 20 a week, get there as soon as possible. You got to get there ASAP. Okay. That's number 2. All right. So again, number 1, you got to master the dialogue. Got to practice, practice, practice. Then number 2, you got to actually call people and have those conversations. Okay. Next, you have to be bought in. You got to be bought in, meaning, are you committed to the process? Are you committed to the process? I'm here to tell you right now, if you want to grow your production fast within the next 90 days, right? Literally, you could change your entire business in less than 90 days. The people who are not happy and who have not done that, and they're getting the same old, or their business is going the other direction backwards, or even the people that had to get out of the business. Because last year, or I think it was 2023, over 60,000 agents dropped out of the business. And 49% of the entire agent population across the nation sold 1 or 0 homes. Those people typically are not attached to the process. So, are you committed to the process while also being detached from the outcome? Are you committed to the process and detached from the outcome? That's not worrying about if somebody hangs up on you, but being committed to making the next call. That's if a deal falls apart, being committed to still doing your prospecting, right? Or doing your money making activities. Being committed. Listen, if you're committed to the process, the scoreboard is going to show that you're winning. Promise you. If you do it over a long enough time horizon, okay, that scoreboard is going to ultimately show that you are winning the game. By the way, the game that we play is very, very simple. Very simple. Like I'm sharing with you two very simple. Well, this is number three. Very simple things. I got a couple more things to share with you, but the game is simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple. And I also do believe the game can become easy the more you do the simple things. All right. And real estate is also a contact sport, meaning you got to talk to people. And we touched on that. You got to have the conversations. And the ones who make it hard because they're not willing to do the work will not survive. Okay. The question is, are you going to be in the group that does not survive? Or are you going to attach to the process and garner even more market share because there's more pie available for you to eat? Because all your competition, well, not all of them, but a lot of your competition, they don't know what to do. Or if they do know what to do, they're not doing it. So are you bought in? Are you committed to the process? And the process itself needs to be the correct process. There are so many coaches and trainers that haven't done a thing that are telling you to spend money on this or do that or do this. And it's like, no, I'm talking about a process that will help you build a profitable, duplicatable, and sustainable business. Meaning, whether you are in Indiana or you're in California or you're in Texas or you're in New York or you're, I don't care where you are, if you do the thing that I'm teaching you right now, you will grow. Your business will grow. And then when times where the market contracts, your business will thrive, period. But are you bought in? Are you bought in? Okay. So, with that being said, when we talk about building production fast, understand that when you do the practicing, when you're role playing with a teammate or you're role playing with another agent or you're role playing with your spouse, make sure that the role play or the practice is tough. You want to struggle in the practice. Make the practice so difficult to where the game is the reward. Make the struggle so challenging in the practice that you are excited to get into the game because now the game is easy. It's easy work. But what I've noticed, and this happens on my team, and I really have to break down the whole concept of what role play really is, right? And how we need to make sure that we bleed in the practice so then in the game we win at a high level. So whoever you're role playing with, make sure that they are being tough on you. And I'm not talking about giving you objections or smoke screens that are not real. Like let's be realistic, but instead of giving you one objection or one smoke screen, they give you two, or maybe they give you three, or maybe four, depending on your skill level. But being able to handle those back to back to back to back is going to help you grow. So, how many hours are you putting in? And if you're not putting in any hours, what would I recommend? I'd recommend just 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes, right? Do it when you wake up. 30 minutes, just practice. Or if you're going to role play with a partner, with a friend, with another agent, figure out the day and times that work for you. But I recommend 5 days a week, bare minimum 30 minutes a day. Okay. If you really, really want to ramp it up, like what I did, I role played every day. And if I wasn't, and when I role played, it was for sure 30 minutes minimum. But when I had free time, guess what I was doing? Because I'm a nerd when it comes to this. I was so obsessed with winning and providing what I can look at myself in the mirror and say, I am great at what I do, or I'm good at what I do, or I'm confident that I can help these clients I was listening to my role plays. Like, for example, I'd role play with somebody and record it. And then I would listen back so then I could figure out what I can do better. That's watching game film. No different than Tom Brady playing a game on Sunday. Whether they win or lose, it doesn't matter because the next day, guess what he's doing? He's watching the game film to identify where he could become more efficient. And I was doing that every single day. Literally, every time my wife would get into our vehicle, we could be going to dinner. As soon as I turn the truck on or the car on, my the only thing you hear through the speakers is me talking, me role playing with somebody and handling objections. And I remember she would always look at me and be like, "Hun, can you please turn this off?" All the time. I would walk around the house with one headphone in, listening, taking notes, understanding how I could be better. You got to be obsessed. You got to look at it that way. How many hours do you think legends practice to become top of their game? Like you could talk about whether it's Tiger Woods or LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, um, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like any of the greats. How many hours do you think they committed to practicing and becoming top of their game? Michael Phelps is another one that comes to mind. And keep in mind the hours that they put in for the practice, we're talking hours on hours on hours on hours throughout a week just to play a 2 hour game or a 1 hour game or a 2.5 hour game. So if you want to get paid like a pro, like an athlete, if you want to get paid like a doctor, if you want to get paid like the top of the top, you got to do the things that they do. Period. So you got to practice. Got to practice. Now we're going to move on. Here's another thing. You got to make sure that you understand that 95% of your business will come from follow up. Follow up. So what is follow up? You had a conversation with a lead or with an opportunity with a human, and most of the time, majority of the time, they're not going to be in the buying or selling phase when you first talk with them. So it's going to require you to make deposits over time. And once they're ready to go, they think of you. That's called follow up or nurture. 95% of your business will come from follow up because only about 5% of the people that you talk to are actually in the consideration phase. Majority of the people are just interested in learning more about the thing or not interested at all. They just did something, right? And that is okay. But the faster you understand that, you understand the psychology of the people that you're going to be helping, the better you can help them. And trust me, the less overwhelm you'll have because there will be an expectation that has been set. So for my people who have been in real estate, they've been in for a few months, or maybe they've been in for years. Here's a question for you. How many opportunities do you believe that you have missed so far this year due to being lazy, having fear, or being content? How many opportunities? How many opportunities have you missed due to you being afraid of making the phone call or doing the follow up? Or maybe you had a couple closings and then you became content and you were like, you know what? I don't need a prospect today. Or maybe just you're just lazy. And by the way, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. I want you to think about this because a lot of people don't understand how much opportunities they miss. Let's say that your average commission check is $5,000 and you answer the question about how many opportunities you missed. Let's say you missed five in an entire year. Now, Every one opportunity is actually three opportunities. And the reason why I say that is because every person who is that you know or that you talk to, they know at least 4 to 7 other people who are interested in buying or selling real estate. Every person that you talk to, they know at least 4 to 7 people who's going to transact in real estate in the next 12 months. So, what that means for you is every opportunity that you talk to or that you miss will send you at least a referral, or they're going to do repeat business with you over the lifetime of your career. That's why one opportunity is actually three opportunities. Again, I help buyer A buy a home. I do a good job. They now refer somebody to me because I does such a good job. And then 5 years later, they have me help them sell and buy another property. So that's actually four transactions just in that scenario. But one opportunity is actually three total opportunities. Let's say $5,000 is your commission check. Okay. And then you missed five opportunities. That's $75,000 gross commission that you missed out. Out of those five opportunities, you missed out on over $70,000 of gross commission income. And here's the thing, for my people who are a few years in, or maybe even, oh gosh, for my people who are 20 plus years in that's watching this right now or listening to this, goodness gracious, as you go deeper and deeper into your career, follow up becomes even more crucial. So if you're several years in and you've not done an exceptional job following up, I'm telling you right now, you have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars that you could have used to set your family up for a brighter future or to retire or whatever it may be, to give back to charity. You missed out on multiple $100,000 of gross commission income. Clap for yourself. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. What I'm trying to do is open up your eyes and help you understand that there are so many opportunities available to you, and you can change your life if you just change your behaviors. Okay. So many opportunities out there. So, with that being said, we need to increase our standards. Our standards. A lot of us, we grew up in a household that was maybe middle class or lower class, right? Income wise. And through that, we get in, we grow up, right? We make money because we get into our jobs, our careers, we get into real estate, and we have a standard of whatever my parents were making, that's my standard. Like as long as I'm close to that or I'm barely above that, I'm winning. And again, that is what is holding you back. If you have parents that are making $75,000 or let's say $50,000, and in my market, the average income is less than $40,000. It's $39,000 per head in my market. Income across all industries per head, 38,000. So let's say your combined household was making $50,000. You make $50,000, you feel like you're good. It's like, all right, yeah, I made it. But when you increase your standards to 75,000 or 100,000, what you do is you change your behaviors, right? Because we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our standards. Your standard is not your ceiling, that's your floor. So your current that you have right now? Are your standards helping you build a life by design, or are your standards holding you back? We got to do a core value check in. What are your values? What are your standards? And then take full accountability for your success. Don't point your finger at nobody. I'm telling you right now, it's not your broker, it's not your team leader, it's not your family, it's not the clients, it's not the economy, it's not none of that stuff. It's not your car, it's not your dog, it's none of that. It's you. You need to take full accountability, full responsibility for your success and failures. And if you do that, you point the finger to you. That's the power pointer, right? Don't give anybody else the power. Point it to you. That allows you to naturally grow in a positive direction. So we got to take full accountability. We got to increase our standards. So when you want to grow production fast, these are your key points. These are your key points. Master the real estate conversation. Talk to a lot of people. I recommend having at least 20 2-minute conversations a week, minimum. Making sure you're attached to the process and detached from the outcome. And then you got to practice, practice, practice. Practice, make the calls, get result, review the result, get feedback on the result, and repeat and repeat and repeat. Okay. And then you got to make sure that through that process, you understand the importance of follow up, that 95% of your business will come from follow up. I'd rather, like, if you want to know what your ideal day should look like, number one, if you could just commit to 3 hours a day, you will earn 6 figures. And let me break this down for you. 3 hours a day of you doing money making activities, depending on where you're at in your business, this could vary. But out of the 3 hours, I recommend at least 1 hour of finding new business. Go hunt for at least 1 hour a day, and then 1 to 2 hours of doing follow-up. Now, some of us, depending on how long we've been in a business and how big our data bank is, our database, we call it data bank here, you may flip that. Maybe you do instead of or let's say, let me give you a better example. Let's say you're brand new and you don't have a lot of follow-up. You don't have many people in your data bank. You're trying to build up your data bank. Maybe you're in your first couple years. 2 hours of finding new opportunities. Because you don't have much follow-up to do, you should be committing 2 hours of hunting for new people to add to your data bank, new relationships that you're building, and then 1 hour of maintaining that relationship, aka following up. But again, if you've been in the business for a while, maybe you got a pretty decent sized data bank, you flip it. 1 hour of new business, 2 hours of follow-up, and there you go. And then increase your standards. Get clear. Get clear. Who are you? Who are you? Are your standards helping you build the life that you want? Are your standards, like, think about your environment. Think about the people that you're friends with. Like, I don't want you to leave this podcast and feel like you cannot be friends with people. You need to be solo. And listen, I am not a believer in that. I believe that you can listen. Could you make good progress by yourself? Sure, but you're always going to be capped. You could go much further together on a team or in an environment that has high level thinking, high level standards, and they operate based on principles and values, and are clear on their mission. You can go much further in your career. Who are your friends? Who's in your work environment? Who are the people that you text the most outside of your clients and outside of your like close intermediate family, like your kids, if you got kids, or spouse, if you got a spouse, whatever, right? Outside of them, who are you texting the most? And are those people living a life that you can look at and say, I respect that? Like, they are doing life at a higher level than me, or certain parts of their life at a higher level that I can learn from, is making me uncomfortable in a way to where I know I need to grow to even be on their level. Like those are the type of friends that you want. That's the type of environment that you want. If you step into your environment, your office or your team every day and you're looking around like, dude, how did I even get in this room? These people are elite. I don't feel like I'm worthy enough. You are blessed. You are in the right room. Don't be the biggest fish in a small ass pond. Okay? Do not do that. Do not do that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna put a bow on this one because I believe I broke this down in a way to where you can take it and deploy it right away. Now, if you do have any questions or if there's some nuances, some things that you are concerned about, you need help with, reach out to me. All right. You can reach out to me. I'm available on all social media platforms. But other than that, like, comment, subscribe. If it's Spotify or any of the YouTube, whatever it may be, give us feedback. Let us know, is this good information for you? Is this helping you grow your business? Just let us know how we're doing. All right. We always take any feedback. It's good feedback to us. So let us know. But we're going to have in the next few podcast episodes, we're going to have some more guests. I think it's fun being able to have episodes with cool people that are, doing shit at a high level, have them on the podcast and be able to share their perspective. Even outside of our like real estate agent conversation that we're always having, I'm going to bring people in that's going to help you with, it could be taxes. It could be if you're a lender, right? What to do as a lender to grow your business. If you're whatever it may be, but I'm going to be having high level producers in their field have a conversation with me on this podcast. So y'all stay tuned for that. And that's going to be very fun. But until then, y'all stay safe. Hey, listen, put the work in, do the thing, apply what you learned today, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.